we survived one of the deadliest earthquake in the world, bro. So today, that's what I want to talk about because that experience was dramatic. That experience was traumatized. So we're gonna have the people have a chance to listen two different stories that happened that day.
I
So
mean, you're right.
welcome to the Haitian King Podcast. My name is Vadim.
And my name is Huygens.
All right, man. So for people that don't know what happened on January 12, 2010, Haiti had a 7.5 magnitude earthquake, and it lasted like 30 seconds, and they killed 316,000 people. I mean, estimation. I think it's more than that, but the scene was very terrible. So, in that moment, so it is a day like every other day, right? So, I want you to explain to me like how the day started for you because it was just like I said, it was just a normal day, like every day. So, what happened in that day? Like how you recall that moment in the morning because it's a normal day.
Like, to start with basically what you just said, a normal day. I woke up that morning, and I remember vividly that my mother told me, like, I didn't have to go to school today because we had, like, other stuff going on. And me personally, I was thinking, oh, great. I don't have to go to school. That means I can just go to the cybernet. And the cybernet, what for the people that don't know, like, if you live in Haiti, to get access to the internet, you gotta go to a certain place to where you pay, like whether you have your computer or not, and then you can just connect your computer and get access to the internet for an hour or 2 hour. It depends on for how long you pay for. And I remember that part vividly because I didn't have to go to school that day, and I thought to myself, well, cool. All I got to do is go to the cybernet, bring my computer, and then have fun, go on miniclip. Like people back then would know what miniclip is and play game all day. That was
Yeah,
my
man. I
thought.
mean, what happened to Miniclip? I don't remember the last time I even played Miniclip, but that shit used to be top notch when back then when I
Like
was in
the
Haiti,
world
bro.
evolved. We got game, you got video game, we got console to where people don't see the need to even go back and play those random games.
You think? Let me ask you this. I'm pretty sure probably in some third world country somewhere. I mean, I don't know if in Haiti still might be, but I'm pretty sure somewhere in the world, Miniclip should be. I need to check that out. I think Miniclip probably still be uh somebody still playing Miniclip somewhere. Because Miniclip have so many games. They had the George Bush one. I mean, to
Yeah,
not get off
that
subject
used to
one.
be one of my favorite games. But like you said, I seriously doubt it because nowadays, think to the internet, think to everything, all the technology we got available nowadays, like a cell phone. How many games can you actually download from your cell phone? So even if a country could be a third world country as it could possibly be, I'm sure they got access to cell phones. So if they do, that means I don't see the need for them to ever go on miniclip no more. But then again, like you said, you never know.
You never. I need to. I mean, that's something I need to check it out. But anyway, go. Come back to that day for us.
But yeah, like I was saying, it's kind of dramatic to revisit that moment. It's because that was like one of those scariest and darkest day of my life. Is because you've never experienced an earthquake.
Yeah, but I get that, but I wanna you get back to the morning part, like the
Like
morning part, because you didn't know the earthquake
that's
was
what I'm saying.
happening.
I
There.
don't think the morning itself was that exciting because it was just like a morning, just like any regular morning. Like I said, the only part I remember vividly was the fact that my mother told me, "Oh, you didn't have to go to school today." And in my head, I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'm just gonna go to the internet, bring my computer, and play game all day." So therefore, there was nothing that exciting about that morning. It was just like a regular morning.
And you just go over there and play mini clip
I
all day.
went over there and played game all day. And I remember I went over there around like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, played game all day. And then on my way back, that's basically when everything went south. But as far as for the morning itself, there wasn't nothing that exciting or anything really worth remembering because it was just like a regular morning. You just woke up because I promise you in my mind, an earthquake or something that tragic was the last thing I had in my mind. And I think I can speak for everyone that lives in that country. No one can ever tell you that that morning they woke up, they were expecting an earthquake.
I mean, for me, especially like, at the time, I was going to school for three different majors. So I had accounting and computer science and psychology. So it was a normal morning. Wake up, you know, eat breakfast, uh, get on the top. For anybody that don't know what a top is, Google top in Haiti. You're gonna see how that look like. Then go to school. Went there. I remember that day we was building website. So with my partners, in the school system. So we was just doing website, having fun. Like it was a good time at the moment, at the time. So then when I think at the time it was like 8 to 12 that I had to go to school. So get there, did the website thing. So when I get off around 12, go Sean Moss, go find me some to eat. The walk is because I don't take when I leave, I don't take another top. So I had to walk. So probably like 3-4 miles, not to be exaggerated, to get to the next school. So then, take a break at Shen Mars, get me something to eat, and get to the school. And that school was the accounting on the evening. So now, since we get to the evening part, so I know you said
Yeah, that's
you went around 10, 11, you went there. So the earthquake happened around 4:50, yeah. It went like
4 o'clock-ish.
4:50,
I remember
yeah,
that vividly,
4:30.
4 o'clock.
So that's when you've been playing games this whole time. And so what happened next?
What happened next was like I left the cybernet and I was going home. And like I said, as a warning, because I was like, that thing was so traumatic. I've done the research myself. I don't think there's really a warning. There's no warning on an earthquake.
But I think they see it at the time, like when the thing.
Yeah, they can see it.
But I don't think
Scientists
I think
it.
that warning is just. I don't think a country like Haiti wouldn't have had that. I don't know if California how long they can say.
Like I said, I've done some research. As far as for warnings, the only thing scientists can do is they can look at certain plates and tell you that plate is not stable, so therefore that place got a higher chance of having an earthquake than
at
this
any
place.
moment.
At any moment, that place got a higher chance of having an earthquake. For example, you can say California got a higher chance of having an earthquake than New York because it's kind of like New York on some more stable plates than California. That's the only thing a scientist can do. Give you a warning to that extent. Or this place is more likely to have an earthquake than that place. Nothing to where they can be like, in the next 3 months or 6 months or a year, you might have an earthquake. It don't
Just like the
that.
hurricane, they can just name it and stuff like this. So yeah, go ahead.
But like I said, the most traumatic part about it is nobody, I promise you, out of the 11 million people we had living in Haiti at that time, I can promise you, nobody's mind was thinking about, okay, today we might get hit with an earthquake. Because as far like in Haiti, we're used to hurricanes. But like I said, hurricanes, you get a warning. But an earthquake, you don't get no warning whatsoever. It just happened. And then when you're thinking about like an earthquake, especially one that has a magnitude of 7.3 or 7.4.
It was 7.5.
Well, 7.5 hitting a world that's like, not just, we ain't talking about like a country that's like well built and that is capable of handling something like that. And the infrastructure can handle it, but we're talking about Haiti, a third world country.
Oh, it's terrible, bro.
So therefore, in my mind, like I said, going home, because I don't think nothing really interesting really happened until the earthquake hit. Because everybody else was just doing what they were doing. Like as far as for me, like I said, I was just going back home from the cybernet. I had my computer with me. And living in Haiti, I didn't want to get robbed because I had a computer. I remember I had it in that kind of black bag.
Yeah.
And I was just walking back home. And then that's actually when it hit. And fortunately for me, when it happened, I wasn't inside a house,
So
inside
how
a
you
building.
felt it? How you felt it?
I remember it's kind of like the only way I can actually explain it, perhaps that makes sense to me, is you can feel it as if it was like a boulder rolling down the road. You could hear the ground,
Like a vibe. You got
the
the first
vibration,
vibration.
the rumbling coming down, but yet you kind of don't know what the hell that is. Like as a person, all you do, I think you got like what 2-3 seconds to be like, what the hell is that? And then it gets to you.
Yeah.
So that's actually how it happened. You hear that noise, I stopped, and I'm like, okay, what the hell is actually going on here? And then before I could finish that thought, everything started shaking. But like I said, luckily for me, I was standing like in the middle of the street to where I wasn't nowhere near anything that could collapse on me. But that was like one of the strangest feelings ever. And then right after that, I remember while I was walking, going back home, thinking to myself, okay, that was odd.
Mm-hmm.
And going back home, and then I saw some houses that collapsed. And then underneath those buildings, you could hear some people crying underneath all those
Oh
rumbles.
man.
And then through you were thinking to yourself, oh my God, this is serious.
Yeah.
And then me personally, the first thing that crossed my mind was, oh my God, I hope my family's okay. And I don't think you understand that level of fear that goes through
Oh,
you
I know.
when you see something like that, thinking to yourself, okay, there's a high chance I might get home. Those
And your
voices
house is gone.
that's what I'm saying. Those voices that you're hearing right now could be my sister, my mother, my brother, whomever that's underneath those things. And then we're not talking about like a few bit of rumbles you can just remove by yourself. You're thinking about a whole house that collapsed on somebody. Do you understand how that would feel like to hear your family member crying and yelling, and yet there's nothing you can do to help them?
Oh yeah, I know that feeling, bro.
So therefore, and I remember like all that crossed my mind within a split of a second, and I remember I started running. And I started running, and the only thought I had in my mind was, oh my God, please let my family be okay. But fortunately for me, when I got home, my house was still standing. And even though my house was still standing, I was still like scared, like still like puzzled, still troubled, still confused. It's because in my whole lifetime, I've never lived through an earthquake. They've never had like information or some sort of training or something. They let people know, hey, if an earthquake happened, that's what you got to do. You got to do A, B, C, and D. We've never had that type of information divulged to us in Haiti. We never had none of those things. So therefore, when I got home, luckily for me, my house was still standing. My sister was home, and then shortly after, my mother and my brother came home. My little brother came home, and still I was confused. But the only person that was uncalled for was my older brother. And then the worry that goes through you, especially after you heard a lot of people crying underneath a house, and you're like, okay, my brother's uncalled for, so therefore we got to find him.
Yeah.
And then you get that feeling in your chest. I don't think you can actually quite explain it. It's that feeling of unknown, and yet you got hope, but at the same time you're scared to find out what it could possibly be. And I remember after that, that's when, like after my mother came home, and then we was like, okay, my mother was like, I can't get in touch with your older brother or whatever. That's when that feeling started. And then the feeling got a whole lot worse. When we took the street finally.
And at the time too, there was no signal, no service,
And then
and
that's
nothing.
what makes things like 10,000 times worse, is because you had no phone signal. It's not like you could just pick up your phone and call them, and then if they pick up to where you could be like, oh, okay, they're fine. Like, because you got to think about it, everybody was on the phone trying to reach out to a family member or a friend or a colleague or somebody or that sort within that same time. So therefore, all the lines were busy. For most people, their phones wouldn't work. And I remember my mother called my older brother probably like 100 times, and he never picked up. And then like every time you call, he don't pick up. It's kind of like you get more scared, more anxious, more scared. It's kind of like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But you keep on trying because you still got that hope in your heart. The next time it's gonna pick up.
Yeah. So like I told you, so when I get to the school, it's accounting, so we still doing some little computer stuff. So it was a computer class. I've been doing computer work all day. So I said, man, you know what? I'm gonna get out of this class right now, because enough with that computer shit for right now, you know. So they had a balcony. So I stand up in the balcony, and they had this guy talking with this girl on this side, and I was on the other side. So I was putting my hand and looking, and then I felt a rumble. First one. It's like, man. And I turned around, we both looked at each other, you know what I'm saying? So they looked at me, and I looked at them like, what the fuck? For a few seconds. And next thing you know, shit started shaking. So then I had my backpack in there, with my computer and everything. So I went and grabbed my backpack when everything was shaking. And then I'm running, and then I'm getting that because it was the second floor. So going to the stairs, people falling. I'm trying to like get on top of like sometimes I remember stepping on few people just to get by. So I'm looking. It's a decision that I make in a second. I'm looking at if I go at the front door, it's gonna take me a long time. So the distance between the front door and the back door, I'm looking. I just say, man, this right here is gonna take me like maybe like 10 seconds. This one probably take me like 3 seconds. So I went at the back door. So then it stopped for a few times and then it started shaking again, big time. I'm talking about I'm looking at house, around the school falling down. I was like, man, it's just like and the way I made, trying to stand up because he was the yard wasn't as big, in the back. So I'm just standing there, and then he was just shaking, and I'm seeing like, that feeling when you can see that it's not a dream. You seen this thing happening, like how the house is just, and you see dust, and then I go, and then when it stopped, I said, is that it? Is this it? And then I started walking back to the front, and all the student, was in the front. A lot of students was in the front, and then they had like some I don't want to say girlfriends. That's the best way to say
Like
it.
female friends?
Yeah, I got two female friends that I always go. We always go to school. We was pretty cool with each other. You know what I mean? So then we always go to school together. So I said, man, I can't wait to go home and to tell my mom about what just happened. So, but trying to get on the phone, no signal, you know what I mean? So like I can't call nobody, man. Everything is dead. So when we walked out, I say, let's go. And we walked out, bro. And then we started walking down, and they got a group of people. I'm talking about probably like 100, maybe 200, around that, coming up. And they got one guy on the front line. Man, the earth collapsed. It's open. And then everything's falling down on it.
So basically what you're saying is right now, like you've met two guys that was basically telling stories saying that the earth opened.
I mean, behind him, he got a group of people. I'm talking about he got over like somewhere around 100 or 200 people with him coming up. And then they said, man, the earth collapsed. It's open and house is falling down on it. So, in that moment, bro, my heart broke. Like, listen, like you got that feeling when your heart breaks. And it was just like, I was in so much fear at that moment. Because if it was just one guy, you wouldn't believe it. But the amount of people he got behind him, man, I got so scared, right? So we walk. And then it's just like I got to the street and walk. And then when we come back a little bit lower. I said, damn. I said, man, fuck it. We going. We walking down, bro. Believe me or not, there is no such thing, bro. I just don't understand. As in a disaster like this, how could you make some story up like this? Just either, is it attention? Is it you doing for clout that we call now these days? But to me, it was kind of fucked up. I don't know how bad it was. I don't know how crazy. So we start walking down. Then I look to the left, and I remember this nursing school. And it used to be like at least 5 stories. And it was just like 1-story building. And then all I can see maybe like 3 to 4 students on top of it. And one of them had the legs like literally like
broken. Now that you're saying that.
And that fucked me up. And not too bad. I was like, holy shit. And I can see other students coming, and then some of them looking like, so much dirt, like you got powder thrown at
so
them.
much dust because like all
So
the
much
building
dust.
collapsed.
Yeah, some people like that make it out alive like that.
And you can see blood mixed up with that dust walking. Seen a whole bunch of
So
them.
and then we started walking, and I remember that there was a bar that's always have people in it. And it was like, I think 3-story, flat like sandwich. And then I hear people say, "Oh my God, they got people in there. They got people in there." So, and then they got some people that, so now everybody cannot focus in one place. So everybody trying to make it home. Some people that's already in the area may be like, they got their shit together at the moment, but trying to help, but there was no help. Then it's just like, now shit started like, my heart started racing. My brain is like, take time to process all that. But, you know, I'm not used to an earthquake. We used to gunshot. We used to like, stuff like that. But an earthquake is just a whole new situation.
Like the most traumatic thing about the earthquake is, to go back to what you're saying, is how crazy and scary and traumatic it was. And like you said, you weren't prepared or ready or trained for an earthquake. But the scary thing about it was nobody did not know what to do. Like, think about it. You got like a country, not just any regular country, a third world country, going to something so crazy, and then you got like 10 to 12 million worth of people panicking all at once. And like you said, you saw that girl laying down with her leg broken. But for me, what I saw a wall that fell on a person, but I could tell it was a female because you could see that she was wearing a dress. And then the wall collapsed on her to where you could see her legs, but yet you couldn't see the rest of her, or her torso and upper body. And you could see like a river of blood falling down from her legs going down. And then that's when that was like my first death that I've witnessed from the earthquake. And then yet I was still going through the issue of not knowing if my brother's alive or not. And then yet you're seeing that, and then the first thing that's gonna cross your mind is, could that be my brother somewhere?
Yeah.
And then after the earthquake, a month, a week, or however it goes, it was, you've met a lot of people who were saying how they had like family members they still didn't get in touch with. That was the scariest thing ever, because you don't really know what to do. You don't even know how to react, because at that point you're just running of pure fear and adrenaline.
Oh yeah.
Because you don't know nothing. You've never experienced anything like that, and in that moment you're scared. And then the trauma was so real to us. Some people till this day were saying it felt like the ground was like swaying left and right underneath their feet.
I got that feeling too.
But I think it was that trauma and that fear. It's not the type of thing where you can run away from. It's not like a situation that scare you and you can just run away from it and get peace. There was no such thing as peace within that moment. And it's kind of like your brain was seeking for peace and yet couldn't find it nonetheless. But like,
so, me and the girls kept walking, and then the moment that was gonna mock me, I'm about to tell you this like I see it like right now when I'm speaking. So we walking, and I saw this lady. It looked like half a wall fell on her.
I saw the same thing.
And but this one is just like, how you, it's like a pig. They cut open, and I can see everything. I can see from the bottom of her everything. And I think for the first time in my life, I froze. The reason I know I froze, the female friends I had with me, they was like probably like a mile away from me. When I get back consciousness, that's when I know I froze. Because when I look and I hear him say, "Vadim, come here," and I can see them doing that. Because just like when I saw that lady, it was so bad that I just got stuck watching it. Because I never seen anything like it.
No one has.
Because I'm talking about like how bad it was. Even saying it right now is just heartbroken. It's just, that's why sometimes you see like life can be so precious. You wake up like every other day dying. You don't know how you're gonna die. Dying in a situation like this, where you just on the side of the road, where half a wall fell on you, and then cut you open that way, like a butchered you up. And then I saw this and I froze. And then the female friends come back and trying to come back get me. But when I gained back consciousness, I still walking, and then he was just traumatized, bro. Then we walk. They didn't live too far, so I went to where they were living. And by where they was living, they had a soccer field. So she went up there so fast, grabbed some sheets and opened it in the field, and I was just sitting there for a little while, and he got dark quick. So he was like close to nighttime, so it got dark. And then in the middle of the night, there was a lot of people in that field too. So the other part that was really traumatized to me, it just sometimes I'll just sit there, or sometimes I'll just lay there, and then you would hear somebody started screaming, and a bunch of other people started, crying and screaming, and that's just like, you know what I mean? It hits you on a whole different level. Now you would hear somebody saying, help me. That's like how it fell down on them. You can hear them, but you can help. And then when you hear that scream, somebody has for help, and somebody else around this group that's in this field bust out crying, and then you have like 20, 30, or 40 people started crying too, bro. And that moment, it was just like, man, am I dreaming? I'm trying to force myself to wake up. Like, I gotta wake up because can't be real. You know what I mean? And it was just, and then tell me around like maybe 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, something like that. A bunch of people started running again. Oh my God, now a earthquake just happened. There is a tsunami coming. So when they say that, some people started grabbing the shit and started walking, started running. Me, I say, you know what? I've done enough running for the night. If tsunami is gonna come, so be it.
Let it be.
Because, and then the only reason I said that too is because that was that guy earlier that did the same scenario, having a bunch of people going with them, saying the earth collapsed, shit's open, shit's falling down on it, and it was just nothing but a lie. So I felt like, man, that could have cost me my life. But fuck it, at that moment, I was just like, man, I'm done running. If this is it, fuck it.
Because the scariest thing about this whole thing was the fact that you don't know, you're not prepared, you're scared, you don't really know what to do, what not to do, who to listen to, who not to listen to. So therefore, whenever you hear somebody that tells you something, you kind of want to believe it and run with it. Just like you got that story, because that same night, me myself, because after we got back, and fortunately for us, we finally got in touch with my older brother, and we knew he was safe. And we went back home, and then later on, he joined us at our house. But even though we didn't trust the house to go back in there, we slept on the street. And then I want to say by about like 10, 11 o'clock at night, we had this guy who just came out of nowhere and said, oh, we just got hit by a tsunami. And the water was like to my waist, and I had to go cross it.
So tell me, at the time, did you look at the guy and you see who was with?
Man, at that point, like I don't think nobody's mind, because like I said, everybody was so scared and traumatized too, and nobody ever stopped to question it.
I think your brain probably not processing something like that.
I don't think your brain was processing anything, because you're scared. You just lived through an earthquake. You done seen a few dead bodies, house collapsing on people, walls collapsing on people, people being scared because they can't get in touch with friends or family. Yeah. And then they got somebody who came here and warned you, or they got something coming. I don't think, because you done made it to an earthquake, something that's unthinkable. So even if that guy would have told you, hey man, I just saw Jesus down there, he's coming, you think you would have stopped and questioned that?
No.
Okay, so it's like one of those situations where it's kind of like, you're scared, you're traumatized, you just went through something that you've never experienced ever before, and yet they got this guy who told you about another situation that you've never experienced before. At that point, I feel like it's kind of like you appreciate the fact that you finally got warned. Because the earthquake, you didn't get no warning at all.
So you started running?
Everybody started running. And I remember my dad had like a four-door car that can probably, that was made to handle 6 people at the most, 4 in the back, 2 in the front. At that time, we probably had like 20 people fit in that car, because everybody would just hop in the car and then we just started going north, like start going towards the mountains, because you did not know.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, that was like one of the darkest and confusing and traumatic days of my life.
Yeah.
It's because, like I said, we live in a third world country. You see dead people here and there, and then usually it's because they got shot. Yeah, you get to a point where it's kind of like you're numb to that sort of thing. But
I mean, even though when you say that though, living in Haiti, at the time, you think that shit was normal. seeing that body every day, it
But that's
was
what I'm saying.
nothing like,
You just got numb to it.
you know what I'm saying? It was crazy that you can just see a dead body on the street. You know, I got a story. Me and my dad, we was in Port-au-Prince walking. So we saw this guy. It was early in the morning, probably around like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So we was walking, and we see that guy. He looked like he was sleeping, like a homeless guy that was sleeping. No, we walked past him like it was nothing. I'm talking about like we walked right next to the guy. And then, we did what we were supposed to do, go to places we were supposed to go. Then I think around 12 and 1, we passed back in the same area. Man, it was just like everybody backed away. The guy was dead the whole time. He was a dead body. And then the crazy thing is, this is every day.
But the craziest thing about seeing dead body or hearing about somebody dying or however it goes in Haiti is the fact that it was never close home to me to where it wasn't like nobody that I kind of knew, whether it was a family or a friend. But the first time one of those things happened that really hit home for me was one day I was in school and there was this guy and the news was going around, people saying, "Oh my God, so and so dad died while he was holding his hand, taking him to school." And even though I don't know his dad, but I know him.
Yeah.
And I've seen his dad a few times dropping him off to school and so on and so forth. And when I heard that, I froze, is because I was thinking to myself how many times my parents bring me to school. And
What happened?
From what like I said, I was a kid, and of course I didn't know the full story to things. But from what the story was, he got hit by a stray bullet. Like, do you understand that your parents bringing you to school got hit by a stray bullet? And I remember that dude. We didn't see him in school for like 2-3 months, and I remember I was thinking, dude, that's got to be extremely traumatic because you were a kid at that time. I was probably like 11, 12ish. And you're a kid, your parent bring you to school, like your parents not living any nefarious life, anything that's kind of dangerous, and then yet they got killed by a stray bullet, bring you to school.
So I know we kind of like off the subject a little bit
for the earthquake, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
but I got a question since we off the subject a little bit. How old were you when you see the first dead body?
When I saw the first dead body, I remember that vividly. I'm gonna tell you how I knew. The dude was wearing some white drawers.
Yeah.
Like some white drawers, and people that was gossiping about it, they were referring him as the guy with the white drawer. Did you see him? I was probably 6, 7-ish. Hey, funny, since we're talking about dead body. Like, in Haiti, sometimes they got those things we call ravines.
Yes.
Like, sometimes you go to school, you got to cross one of them here and there.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, usually what they do is they got like certain high rocks set up to where you can just step on the rock for your shoes, you don't get wet.
Yeah.
But that was like, I don't think that was my first time encountering a body though. And I was going to school, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like hopping over them little rocks across that ravine or whatever the case was. And then I tripped on one of them rocks to where I didn't want to hit my shoe. And then when I hit something that looked like it was like a pile of trash or whatever, and then it was like a body. And that didn't even scare me. That's what's messed up about it. I saw it like, oh, damn. And I remember I was with my older sister. I'm like, that was a dead body. And she looked at it. She was like, kept on walking as if it was nothing.
I mean, I don't think people understand that. When I saw my first dead body, I think I probably was 4, 5 years old around that time. Because I used to go to school by myself when I was 4 or 5 because I know the route, so I'll go to school. And then it looks like it was some robbers. It was like 5 of them. They come robbing a place at night. And then when they did, so the population heard, about it. And then them guys started shooting. They went out a bullet. 2 of them make it out alive. And those 3 people, it's Haiti, they got stoned to death. So I'm looking at those 3 dead bodies when I was on my way to school. The guy head was open. I'm talking about like big rocks sitting right next to it. I can see how like his brain on the ground. I'm talking about, bro. Remember, I'm 4, 5 years old, and I'm seeing.
But think about it.
And it was just.
You're 4 or 5 years old, and yet you're going to school on your own.
Yes.
Let that itself is something else. And I feel like the scary thing about it is, and like in Haiti, all these things were normal. Seeing a dead body was normal.
Yeah,
You know, going to school by yourself while you're 5, 6, 7 years old is normal.
it's normal.
And then you get to realize how messed up and backward and how crazy it is until you made it to America. And then you realize a 5 or 6 year old shouldn't
be going
like
to school
shouldn't
by
have
himself.
or should never have to do anything like that by themselves. But yet in Haiti, it's a normal thing.
Yeah, and I'm looking at those guys on the ground. I'll watch. And you know, you were kids, you're curious at the time, and then I'm watching. But that fucked my whole day up. You know, I'm telling you this right now. I can see it. Telling you about it. I record this moment in my brain. I can telling you right now. I'm seeing it by telling you. I can see everything around it. Like I was back in Haiti. And you know how traumatized that is? That you have to live with this moment over and over. Speaking about it right now is like reliving it, that moment. So you go through so much like this, but that's normal. Seeing people getting shot, seeing people getting stabbed, seeing people getting cut to pieces, seeing people that's just like burned alive, seeing people with just like, you know, that was burning and that was on the side of the road, seeing all this. But the earthquake was something
You've never
different.
experienced that's different because the earthquake came out of nowhere. Like in Haiti, like you said, you've seen so many dead people. It's either it's a thief that got stoned to death, or thief that got shot, or whatever the case may be. Every once in a while, once every 6, 7, 8 months, you see one of those to where like you done grew that numbness to it.
Yeah.
And just as you're saying, because I've seen so many dead bodies in Haiti too, I lost count. And I'm not talking about the earthquake. Because I remember one time, you know, Abonma. You know what that is? Like when you pay somebody to bring your kids to school.
Yeah.
Like we were going to one of them things, and then we had like the driver had to literally stop. He was like, "What the hell is this?" "Oh, it's a dead body," and kept on going. Now the funny thing about it is, it was like somebody that was burnt alive.
Jesus.
They didn't burn his whole body, and I think they burned his upper half to where you could see these like skeleton in a weird way. You could see the skeleton still standing, and then the bottom half still had meat. And then we kind of looked at it as the car was driving by. We kind of looked at it like, "Oh my God, that is crazy." And maybe the first body I saw traumatized and scared me. Even perhaps the second, but third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it was just like a normal thing. Like
it's become like normal.
It got normalized real quick. But that's one of those things that happen when you live in like a third world country, especially like a country that is as crazy as Haiti. And nobody never actually thought about those things, because people that grew up in America, especially with us who's been living in America for the past, over a decade now?
Yeah.
To where we didn't realize, okay, that's crazy. There's no reason a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old should be seeing a dead body every 3, 4, 5, 6 months, but yet it happened nonetheless.
Oh, yeah.
And the craziest part about it is the fact that as a kid, you've done created like you've done got, and you done became numb to seeing dead bodies.
You find a way to cope with it. Yeah. Your brain find a way to be like, oh man, we've seen so many of them right now. Psh, that's nothing.
Pretty much, yeah.
So let's get back to the earthquake. So how is the next day for you?
And you know what's crazy about it? The first day was
like when the morning hit, because it was all night.
But
so
like
when
I said,
the morning hit,
the first day was scary.
Yeah.
You were scared.
Yeah.
The next day was confusing.
Mm-hmm.
It's because as human beings, especially as for me, you were thinking, where do we go from there? And I remember the next day, that's when we actually got to see the full thing, because the first day when the earthquake happened, it happened around like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then a few hours later after that, it was like night, to where people had to go to sleep, even though they were traumatized and scared, they still had to go to sleep in the middle of the street, and so on and so forth, because you had so much thoughts going through your head.
And it was dark. There was no electricity, so you couldn't see nothing.
That's what I'm saying. You had like so much thoughts going through your head that first night, and then like you had a chance to go to sleep, whether you got like an hour of sleep, 2 hours of sleep, and then the next day it's kind of like your brain reset, but yet you still wake up to it. And then you got like daylight, to where you could see things you didn't see the day before.
Yeah.
And then to where it's kind of like everything done settled. And then the best way I can explain it is a hurricane happened, it's crazy, And in 3-4 days, we don't have no more hurricane. You got like a pretty sunny days, and yet now you get to fully see the damage, the natural catastrophe left behind. That's exactly how it felt like waking up the next day. Because you got daylight.
Yeah.
You're hearing all the stories.
And now you can see everything.
You can see everything. You can see the dead bodies. You can hear about the million stories. The people that think so-and-so died. The people that think this family was living in that house. The whole house fell on them.
Now you can see everything.
Like you can see everything. It's kind of like right now, it's kind of like you have like a reset mind to inhale all that at once.
Yeah.
And it was scary. Like I said, the only way I can relate to it is, like I said, after an earthquake, 2-3 days later, after a hurricane, 2-3 days later, hurricane is gone, everything is calm, and now you can truly grasp the damage. That's exactly what it was. To where now you started thinking about like certain friends.
So when you woke up, what was the first thing like you and your family did?
When we wake up, the first thing me and my family did was, I remember my mother had like a close friend, we had like a close friend to the family that we had to go check up on, and we called them a million times, and then we were worried, and then we actually took the streets and walked, and I'm not talking about like any close distance, we're talking about like probably 15-20 miles.
Damn.
Walked, and then as you're walking through the country, and then you get to see the damage, you get to fully grasp the magnitude of that catastrophe that done happened.
Yeah.
You're seeing many houses that collapse. You're seeing dead body. You're hearing people cry underneath that rumble. You're hearing some people saying, come help, my wife is under there. But at the same time, you just can't, because you got like your own people you're worrying about, you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
And that's when you finally gotta get it. And you were still scared and also traumatized. And it's a third world country. Now you start thinking, okay, where do we go from there?
Yeah.
Now
so when you got to the friends, was it?
Man, when we got to the friend, that was actually even sadder. And when we got to the friend, fortunately enough, most of them were okay, but they lost a child. Because from the stories that I heard, the child was in the shower showering to where when everybody heard the earthquake and pretty much took off running, he was in the shower to where he was pretty much, I don't know what happened. He probably got scared and stayed where he was.
How old was the child?
I think he was my age, because when the earthquake happened, I was like 14.
Yeah,
so he was about my age.
Damn.
So therefore, that's the only thing I can think of, because I remember when we got there, they were like, he was in the shower. And I was looking at the house and how it looked. And then, because like I said, they were a close family friend. I'm familiar with their house. And I'm looking at the rubble and thinking about where the shower is. And I'm like, yeah, there's like a high chance that this guy is gone. And then it was scary, and then the mother was crying, and then we went. My dad, no, not we didn't do nothing. With my dad and the other guy's dad, and we had like all the people. They were trying to removing rubble, but that was like a 4 or 5 story building type of thing. So therefore, you knew it would take them like at least a few days to finally get to him, because their hope was, if he's underneath that rubble, if they get to him fast enough, they still got a chance.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like
you don't have the tools.
No, you don't have the tools. Everybody was moving things barehanded. Like if something was too heavy.
And you're talking about like in Haiti, the houses are built with concrete.
They built with
concrete.
concrete.
It's not building with like they build out here.
Cinder blocks, basically.
Yeah, it's like you said, cinder block, and with what's that thing called?
Cement, concrete.
Cement.
Yeah.
Concrete cement, and that shit is
heavy.
Heavy.
Like anybody that's familiar with cement and concrete, they know it's heavy. Think about if you got like a 3, 4, 5 story house made out of that stuff, cinder blocks and cement and concrete falling on top of you. What are the chances you will survive?
And that's what I think. All those people died is because of the infrastructure, construction. How, like here, I got this story. I didn't even know, like here, if you at your house, you want to modify something, you have to let the city know.
Absolutely. And it's the safest way to go about it.
It's crazy because in Haiti, this guy built his whole house. The city don't even know about it.
You know what's funny about it? The guy built his whole house, and yet he's not an engineer. Like, he don't know the first thing that needs to be known about building a house.
He just built his own thing.
And he just do his own thing. And then, for the most part, they get away with it because you don't have an earthquake.
Yeah.
And then, like, once you get, like, an earthquake, something that's actually shaking the foundation of the house, and then that's when a lot of people get to realize
and that's all the time They got people that build. For instance, let's say truly this house is gonna take. I'm giving a number, 100 bag of cement. And then these guys like, and then bag of cements are expensive in Haiti. And these guys was like, shit. I mean, we can make it with 50. And then so you put 50 bag of cement, and with all those, you see here is different because Haiti the cement is this true powder cement. Here I can see when you go by the cement, he already got the little sand and the little rocks in it and stuff like that. So this is pure cement. So this guy got this little the sand, he got this little rocks, and then everything cut in half. For something that would build a strong foundation, I have with 100 bag of cement. Now you got 50. Sometimes you can even just grab it's just sand. Literally like sand. You can easily grab your hands and just really squeeze it. You shouldn't be able to do that. And you can squeeze it and you can see just nothing. And there is actually no cement. Like, so a lot of house was like this. So any little shake,
I'm gonna tell you something I thought about for a long time that happened in the earthquake in Haiti in 2010 is the fact that all the people that passed away in their home passed away while they were at the place that they felt the most safe. Because if you think about it, the home feel like whenever you're home, you think you're safe. You be your true self. Yeah. You know, you think from there on out, like nobody can attack you. Yeah. The demons can't get to you. Nobody can get to you because I'm home. And then yet that same home collapsed on top of you and killed you. That's
think of the way you think. This is just like just thinking about it for that. You're right, because man, when I get home, to me it's just like it's just like me. When I leaving the house, it's like going to war. You know what I mean? Like you leaving the house, you don't know what you're gonna encounter, so anything can happen. But after a long day at work or whatever you're doing, when you get home, and it's just that peace, you feel it. Your house is cozy, you're chilling, and then that's the weapon.
That's what I'm saying. You got something unannounced, and then you got something unannounced because with a hurricane, even though you know home is home, your home is your haven, you get a warning to where you're like, okay, there's a chance that my house might not withstand a hurricane to where you can get up and run. Yeah. The earthquake, you don't have that warning at all. It just happened. And then you could be laying in bed sleeping. You could be watching TV.
Your most safe place become the weapon.
Dishes. That's what I'm saying. You could be listening to music like you were within your haven, and yet that haven collapsed on top of you. Yeah. That's the craziest thing about it that I don't think nobody ever actually stop and think about. You're at home.
Your most safe place can become the biggest weapon that kills you.
Yeah, that's what makes that earthquake so scary.
Yeah, and then me, when I wake up that morning, I'm far away from my house. So where I was, I'm like, like 20 miles, 25 miles away from my house. So then I started walking. So I started walking, and now I'm seeing all those damages. It's just like, it was bad, bro. So I'm walking, and I don't have no contact with my family. Spend the whole night worried about what they doing, what happened to my mom, what happened to my sister, what happened to my little cousin. I had no clue. So now I'm in a race trying to get home. I'm hungry, but I don't care. I'm thirsty, but I don't care. I'm just walking. I got my backpack. I'm just determined to get home. Walking, seeing all these things. But right now, my heart is racing. My mind is killing me with all different scenarios. What happened? What can happen? So I'm going. Then I find this a truck full of people. He was going there, and I just hop on it. It was the most unsafe moment. But at that moment, I didn't care. I just want to get home. So he dropped me kind of like 3/4 of the way. So I started walking. Then I got in the alley of my house. I'm walking, and then somebody said, "Oh, your mom was just outside." I'm talking. It was a good distance where my house is to the alley, probably I want to say a mile. And then the lady said, "Hey, your mom was just over there waiting for you. Everybody was worried." So I said, "Everybody's good." She said, "Yeah, everybody's good." So now I feel happy. But imagine my mom, everybody, he's just still don't know I'm good because I had no contact. So I'm I started running home, started running. So when I see my mom, it was one of the best moment and the tragedy. Like when you seen that, and then you seen all the shit you just seen, but then in the same fear, sadness, you still can find happiness just by then seeing the people that you love. You know what I mean? Seeing your family again. And your mind was destroying you earlier. And now you can find that peace, that relief that your closest, the people that you goes to sleep in the same house with you every night are safe. And I was the only one out. So when I get there, and then it was just like we couldn't go sleep in the house, so we had to go sleep outside. Then 2 days later, I said, man, I gotta go back to the middle of this stuff to see what happened. I wanna see it. I mean, the day after, I heard people telling story. That was like, it happened on Tuesday, so I get home on Wednesday. So like on Thursday, I'm hearing stories, and on Friday, I say, I'm going. I wanna go see. Bro, I kid you not. They had like pile of bodies. I'm talking about the pile was so high, the taller than my house. I'm talking about like thousand of
Something that had to
people,
be a few thousand people.
if thousand, maybe like 10,000 of people on top of each other. He was so bad, they had to use excavator to grab those people to put them in trucks. You know how bad this have to be?
Yeah, too many
For
people.
just to see, like sometimes the excavator will grab and you see a head fall, you see a arm fall, you see some feet falling. Like people was cutting in half while he was spooning it.
There
I
was
mean,
too
he
many
can't
people.
take like,
Well, you got to think about it. Those people, they probably got their family member, friend, loved one, whomever they may be, worrying and thinking what it could possibly be, and yet here they are dead in an excavator, getting
yeah.
dumped into a dump truck,
And
getting
then
hauled, then go somewhere so can they dump them in a hole.
yeah, because they had to do a mass grave
Yeah, like a
and
man.
then like out of the city to just drop all these people. We talking about 300,000 people, bro. 300,000 people. And then some people will just grab people they found and then they would just go throw them in
Like
those piles.
swing 'em
And then
into that
just like,
pile.
just throw them in the pile. And you will see like, when I was walking, you can see people on the street. Like some of them, they wrap them with sheets. Some of them not. The trucks and the excavator and the pile, I can see it right now, what I'm telling you. And then it was just like crazy, bro. I mean, I always say, I take a hurricane all day. Earthquake, can't do it.
Basically, anything you get a warning for, it doesn't matter how bad it is. If you get a warning, you can either prepare, or if you feel like you cannot prepare for it, you can just get up and go and run away from it, as people do with hurricanes. If you know it's a category 2, you're like, yeah, I probably can handle it. So let me make sure I secure my house so water don't get in, or whatever the case might be. If it's a category 5, you can get up and run, so you got time to prepare. Like whenever you got time to prepare for something, it's one thing. But whenever you got something that is so crazy, you're thinking about it like it's not like any basic earthquake. It's a 7.5 magnitude of an earthquake that hit a third world country, and then every single person within that country wasn't prepared for it. And we're not talking about like if you were tall, if you were short, if you had money, if you didn't have money, doesn't matter whom you were. If you were within that country, it caught you by surprise.
Yeah.
Like it did not discriminate. Rich people died, poor people died, all kind of people died because nobody had any way, shape, or form to prepare or be ready for such a catastrophe.
Yeah, it was, like you said, nobody was ready for this. Nobody know that was coming. I suffer PTSD big time because I remember it's like there was a helicopter passing up there and then I can hear it vibrate the ground. I bust out running. It was traumatized. Even though, so I left the country a week after. So the earthquake happened at 12. I left the country the 28th. So when I get here, everything shaking to me. The airport, when I get to Miami was shaking. Like I remember I got to my to my cousin house, and her son probably was like 3 at the time. Both started running in our apartment. We was upstairs. I was sitting on the couch. I bust out running because I can feel it. Nobody else can feel it, but me. I felt the vibration mostly everywhere I go. Even though when I was with my ex and she was laying, like when you lay in bed and then when you get up, sometimes your hands shake and shake the whole bed. I would waking up screaming, and I'm talking about I went through this for years. So I've been here 14 years. I think right now I'm good, but 6 7 years I was still slightly like going through that moment. I never go to counseling, talking about it. Really, I don't think it's a few people. I don't think I never went to details like that before
Yeah, I
the
think
way we're doing
this
right
is my
now.
first time going into details about the earthquake in that sense, and I'm not gonna say I got PTSD from it to where if anything shakes around me, it scares me. But at the same time, whenever I get into a tall building, like a parking garage or whatever the case might be, the thought always crosses my mind. Man, I'm so far off the ground right now. If an earthquake happened, what am I gonna do? Every single time. It never fails. If I'm like somewhere that's like high off the ground, or I'm on the second, third, fourth, fifth floor, I got this unease, this feeling of uneasy, thinking about if anything happened in that current moment, what am I gonna do? If an earthquake happened in that current moment and then the building is falling apart, what can or what I'm like what can I what could I possibly do in that moment in case of an earthquake happen? And that is some sort of PTSD that I've
Yeah,
got left, some sort of residue of that earthquake that happened in 2010.
us as human, sometimes we forget how fragile life can be. I think sometimes we get very comfortable because every day, let's say you get up, you do your routine, go to work, do what you're supposed to do. You forget it's just in an instant. You can be gone. Your life can be over. Sometimes we get hit by somebody close to you, or somebody get hit by a car, or somebody instantly died. Then that's when you got the reminder, oh shit, life is precious. Life is wonderful. I'm living. Let me just be grateful. Sometimes we're tripping about the
Small stuff.
small stuff, and then we don't take the time to realize how lucky sometimes we are to just be living. Just like that lady that had a body tearing apart. She didn't know that was gonna happen. Just like me and you right now. We don't know what's gonna happen, how we're gonna die. But yet, ah, we forget about it. Like I know right now at this moment, thinking about it, we're in our feelings because all those emotions, all those feelings hitting you back right now.
Oh yeah.
And then you have a chance to think about it. 2 weeks later, nothing happened. Shit.
You get back to
We
normal.
back to normal.
You
We
get
back
back
to
to
be
normal. And the thing is, I don't think we mean to do so because it doesn't matter. Those quote unquote things that you may call small, they still are daily duty. Waking up, shower. If you got kids, you deal with them. You go to work. You get off work. You're tired. You eat. You probably relax a little bit and then go to sleep. And then the next day you start over or all over again. Once you get back to that pattern, it's kind of easy to forget about like a trauma. It's kind of like you keep your mind busy and occupied enough so you don't think about the big things.
yeah.
And then until one of those big things happen, and it's kind of like a death in the family or something of that extreme, it's kind of like it snaps you into back into what could possibly happen. Because every day you just do the same thing over and over and over and over and
And
over.
nothing never happened.
Nothing ever happened to where you think, okay, that's a normal route of life. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
keep doing this thing till the end of time. And then you get like a call or phone, like a text message or something of that sort that says, you got a close friend or a family member that passed away. And then that's when the idea of death come back into your mind. To where for that split second you forgot about your daily duties, you focus on, damn, one day I'm not gonna be here.
Yeah.
But
So it's just like, and then that's when it's like all this, man, live your life to the fullest, enjoy every day. Challenge is always gonna come in life.
oh yeah.
Problems always gonna be there. I think that's what making life meaningful in some level.
Yeah.
So, but sometimes we get caught up in all of those bad situations we're going through, and we sometimes forget the main goal. Be like, why we even exist? Where you tripping about small stuff. Some problems can be like detrimental to your mental, to let's say,
To your finances,
all this other
all that kind
stuff.
of stuff. If you got like an unexpected expense or something that I thought
Yes,
it might ruin your day, to where it might put you in a bad mood. You just go to a breakup, or you got a child that is sick. All those things can throw you in a bad mood. But
at the end of the day,
at the end of the day, it's still small compared to you losing your life. And there's a thing that says, as long as you draw a breath, you still got hope.
yes,
Like, it doesn't matter what you may be feeling in the moment, it will pass. If you feel happy, it's gonna pass. If you feel angry, that's gonna pass. Emotions are just for the moment. They don't last very long, really. But the biggest thing of it all is life. As long as you got life, you cannot just let an emotion, whatever the emotion may be, drag you to a place where you don't belong.
you know what I learned over the past year? Whatever situation you're going through, how bad it can be, emotion is running high, feelings is killing you, all those crazy thoughts going through your mind, just hold on.
It will pass.
Just
As I
hold
said,
a
it
little
will
longer.
pass. It
I
will
know
pass.
it's like right now you seeing everything, you don't see no light, it's dark, you don't see it. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, just hold on. Give it a day, give it 2 days, give it 3 days, give it 5 days. Just hold on. And sometimes I know emotion can be so bad. And then the best thing that comes to your mind at the time is just handed your life. I just want to be done with it. Just hold on. Like I remember I was talking to you and I was going to something and you said, I never forget it. I don't know where you got it from, but I never forget it. And you said, ask what Vadim from a year now will say about this moment. And then I took a minute to think about it, bro. I really thought a minute to think about it. Even though all those emotions, all those feelings running hard, it's just everything look dark, everything look crazy. You know, some feelings, some emotions I'm used to, like being hungry, being without nothing, all those things, because my mind is set up that got the mechanism like, oh shit, 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 oh shit. Because my mind's already running, working, come up with solutions. But sometimes you can go through some problem that you that's not things in everyday life. And then you just wanna be like, man, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. And then I always go through that same moment. What me from a year now, if I'm living, what I'm gonna say about this moment. And the 9 times out of 10, you'll be laughing about it.
Yeah,
Man, you remember,
to where it
bro?
won't be a big deal. Me personally, I've learned it from a teacher that I had in Haiti. And I remember one thing he used to always tell us was, think about what you in the future would think about whatever problem you're having right now. And he says, if y'all can't think of it, I'm going to give you an example. Think what you right now is thinking about a problem that you had 2-3 years ago. And then you're thinking about it, you realize those problems that you had 2-3 years ago right now are that irrelevant. So therefore, whenever I'm going through it, that don't mean I'm ignoring the problem that's in front of me, but I don't let it stress me out. It's because I know 2-3 years in the future, I'm gonna be looking at it and laughing and realize it wasn't even that big deal to begin with. So therefore, within that, I'm trying to teach the current me not to make a big deal out of it in the moment. Too, I'm like, okay, it's a problem. I just gotta find a solution for it. Too, I'm not gonna sit there and stress and be mad and angry and be anxious about it because I know 2, 3, 4 years from now, what's driving me against the wall right now will seem like a joke.
And I hope if somebody watches and listen, they can take what you said, make it become your own thing because this is so powerful. Because sometimes you don't think about it because
Yeah.
you just living in the moment because everything is hitting you so hard. Like, I mean, man, goddamn. And sometimes, bro, when life say it's beating you down,
Oh, it's gonna beat you down,
it's
that's for
beating you
sure.
down. And then, it's just like you never know.
Yeah, it's one of those things when, like I said, when they happen, for a split second, as human, you're gonna have that instinctive reaction to, oh my God, why me, and so on and so forth. But before I even get to that point, me personally, I stop and think, okay, 2 or 3 years from now, my car broke down. I don't even have a car right now. I don't even know I'm gonna get to work tomorrow. This is just me using an example.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years from now, I'm gonna go back and think about it and be like, "Psh, I could have ordered a lift.
Yeah.
I could have got me a rental. I could have called a friend to come get me," or something of that sort. But in the moment of it, when it happens, the fact that you weren't expecting it, it tends to drive you a bit crazy. It tends to put you in that mode where you keep asking yourself, why me? But at the same time, I'm just relaxed about it. Like, for that split second, I might go crazy, and then I stop and be like, okay, I'm not going to overreact. It's a problem. Let's just think about the solution. So I'm not going to let that problem lead me to a certain emotion that I don't want to feel. Because I don't, like me personally, I don't like to stress about anything. It doesn't matter how bad or deep it is, I'm not going to stress about it. Because the way I look at problems, there's two sort of problems. There's one you can accept, and that is the hardest one. Accepting it, knowing you can't do nothing about it, but yet you got to accept it nonetheless. And then you got the second type of problem, which is the easiest one to deal with, the one that has a solution. You just seek the solution for it and then you resolve it. Nothing else in between.
Don't try to control the uncontrollables.
Yeah.
Some of them is just
you gotta accept it.
They had your hands.
That's what I'm saying. You lose your mother, like you have a death to a family member or a friend that is close to you, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna sting. You can't do nothing about that. So you gotta accept it and find a way to move on. Like, it's messed up, you move on because there's no solution. Because right now you going through hell because you lost that person, and then no one is saying you shouldn't be feeling that way for that person that passed away. But in that moment, there's nothing you can do. So to an extent, by me understanding there's nothing I can do, I tend to limit the emotion I invest within it. I could still be sad if I lose my mother or my brother or whomever it is, but at the same time, I'm not going to give it enough power to slow me down because I understand it's nothing I can do about it. So me sitting there and thinking and going over and over and over about it, to where it makes me super sad, to where it makes me super depressed, to where I don't even want to get out of bed, that's me giving it too much power.
Yeah.
But if it's something that I can actually have a solution for, to me, that's the easiest problems. Because, okay, that's the problem, there's a solution. That don't mean the solution gonna make everything work perfectly. The solution gonna make that problem go away completely. For example, if you lose your job and then you got next month bill and so on and so forth coming, that's a problem you can solve. You can look for another job, you can borrow money, you can take a loan. Granted, all those things may not have been the most ideal way to go about life, but at least that problem got a solution that I can come up with within that instance so I can keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So therefore, you lost your job, you get depressed, you start drinking, you start not caring, you don't want to get out of bed. That problem is still there, but yet that problem got like a solution that is so obtainable. It might not be ideal, like I said, but there's a solution to it compared to something that's irreversible you can't take back, but yet you let it drive you to the ground to where you can't even get up. Because the thing is, one thing I remember my father used to tell me is, whenever you got a problem, you cry. Whenever you're done crying, that problem's still there.
Yeah.
So therefore, you just wasted time crying about the problem, where you could have just like go and get to the solution right away, think of a solution to fix it, but yet you let it hit you so hard to where you wasted time crying about it. You wasted time being depressed about it. Because a lot of people, whenever they get dealt a bad hand in life, they take so long. I know they say time heal all wounds, but if that wound, you got to let 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, or however long it may be, for the wound to heal, for you to get back on track. That's 4, 5, 6, 7 years that you wasted.
And that discussion, definitely. So me and you, we from a third world country. So all our lives, we dealt all type of scenarios, all type of difficulties, all of those.
And that's everybody.
Being hungry,
But damn near
nothing,
homeless.
homeless, being nothing to eat. All of this, they had no money. You have no clothes, no shoes. All of those situation. Then you find a way to deal with it. So then when we got to this country, and it was even harder for us. So we had to, get it out the mud and deal with so many problems. But that make us a bit easy for us to deal with different scenarios. But imagine some people probably all their life, let's say, they never had to deal with no problems. All their life, let's say, they always have somebody got their backs to deal with those problems. And then one day they get hit with one of those major problems. So you can imagine these people is like me. You can be easy to say, "Oh man, I can just deal with this. You can do that. You can just not leaving no power to you." But when you think about it, if we want to be honest, it's a skills on itself.
It is a skill within
It's
itself.
those things you develop. It's some way you train yourself. You train your brain. This is like when I'm telling you, when I have problem in my life, I can like lose money, and I lost a lot of money, even though at the time I was making a lot of money. But I was just like, when that happened, my brain was like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Damn, man, that was a lot of money. Damn, that was a lot of money. Then the holy shit slowed down. Holy shit. Holy shit. It's because my brain's already set up that way to, hey, when shit bad happen, provide me solutions. And then I'm started at that moment when I said the holy shit slowing down, it's me started finding, yeah, maybe if we move this and we move that and we get this and we get that, we can be good. If we do this and we do that. And I'm seeing all these things like, like in the movies, you can see all those little, sometimes you see all those little math
Man,
things
I got
pull up.
another, I got another
So
saying that says wasting time thinking about wasted time is a waste of time. You get that?
yeah, I get that.
All right.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's sometimes it's like I said, it's the skills and itself. But some people they never been in a situation where they had to develop that skills. And sometimes when that problem hit them, sometimes it's not small problem. Sometimes it's a big problem. And sometimes what that people first thing they do, like they never really had to deal with those kind of problems. And then that's when sometimes it leads to suicides because he was just like, holy shit. And it's
You
just
don't
like
see no exit. 'Cause
you don't
it's
see
kinda,
no
It's
exit.
kind of
But
like you want the pain to stop instead of facing it, instead of letting it linger, instead of having that thick skin to where you know, okay, this is life. That's what it does. This is hard. What's the next step? What can I do? What can I like? What's my next step? Who can I call? And so on and so forth. It's kind of like their brain never had to deal with that level of stress before, to where like the only way they perhaps feel like they can make that pain stop is if they end it all.
yeah. So if you're listening right now, you never had to deal with big old problems. You never had to deal with the big old difficulties. Like I was saying earlier, just hold on. I know your mind is racing. I know your brain is killing you. I know you have a million thoughts going through your mind. I know you don't see no solution. Trust me. Just hold on. Just give it a day. See how you feel tomorrow. Take it day by day. You know what? I give it tomorrow. You know what I realized I started doing when I was in the gym, going to the gym, and I'm running. So let's say if I said I'm running, because this is a good example. If I said I'm running 15 minutes, shit. My brain say 15 minutes. I see 15 minutes as a long time, even though 15 minutes is not a long time. But since you're running, you feel like, damn, 15 is a long time. So your mind, sometimes if you're not used to it, it got ways to discourage you, make you feel like, oh man, we cannot do 15 minutes. What I started doing was like doing minute by minute. I got to 1 minute. I got to two. Let's go to 2 minutes. Oh yeah, we're going to 3 minutes. Or we're going to 4 minutes. We're going to 5 minutes. It never fails. When I get to 15 minutes, it's all good. So sometimes that's my whole point is when the problem hit and you don't know what to do, just try take it day by day. See what tomorrow brings. When you get to tomorrow, say shit, tomorrow is gonna get better. Tell your brain, oh man, we're trying again for tomorrow. Or tomorrow definitely gonna be better. So always set a positive mind just to get to the next day. And the next day, when the next day come, I know you show up with disappointment because you think, but it's a way you trick your brain telling them, so the next day is gonna be good. And then it's just like, oh, okay. So we don't have to worry about it. I don't have to provide you all those bullshit information I'm giving you right now. So tomorrow's gonna be good, you promise? Yeah. Then when tomorrow come, your brain feel like it's being tricked, like all this is a disappointment. I thought you said tomorrow was gonna be good. And then you say, oh no, man, I thought so too, but it's gonna be the next day. Just hold on. If you're thinking about committing suicide, if you feel like being bullied, just hold on. Just wait. I learned this the past few years. No matter how much that problem hits you, no matter how much you feel the pain is unbearable, just hold on.
Because also people got to think in mind, emotion don't last. Look, let me give you a good emotion, happiness. Let's just say today you went to the beach. You were happy. Let's just say today you went to the movie or whatever it is people really like, whatever people enjoy doing. You're happy. And then the next day or maybe the next week, that feeling is gone. And then as human beings, as being real like emotional like people, we go to different emotions. Certain things make us feel a certain way. But like when you let that feeling or emotion lead your action, it's kind of like you let temporary emotion lead you to make permanent action. Just like if you got a lot of money, you see a car you really like, you're like, man, let me go ahead and get it. You might be happy in that moment, but I promise you, a week later, you might be looking at this car and realizing, looking at your bank account and see how much money you wasted on that car. You're like, man, I was tripping. And that's why a lot of time when people say, whenever you get like certain emotion, it doesn't matter how strong they are, go home or give yourself some time and space so you can let your body or your soul linger within it. And then if a week, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, you feel the same way, then I guess you may say, okay, this is not an emotion. I can just trust it and go with it. But within that day or that moment or that situation, it's kind of better to step back. It's kind of better to not let that emotion drive you toward the path that you perhaps might not want to go. Like emotions can just be trusted. And I know we are emotional beings, but for the most part, a lot of emotions cannot be trusted.
Going through that earthquake, going through the moment, you was just this close to be dead.
Pretty much.
Because you could have been at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yep.
So we were at the right place at the wrong time. But we found a way to make it out alive. And it's 316,000 people, I mean, give or take.
That weren't that fortunate.
That wasn't that fortunate. And they didn't make it. And that's a big number. You could have been part of the statistic of that. So sometimes you take a moment to appreciate life. I mean, many reasons you can ask yourself, where are we living? That's you to decide. What's my purpose? To me, you choose your own purpose. You give your life your purpose. You find something that you want to live for. And sometimes if you feel like you don't have a reason, find one. Create one.
Make one.
Make one happen.
Because you're here for a reason.
Yeah, you're here for a reason.
If you think about it, whether you're 5, you're 25, you're 65, you've made it to so much.
You think what I think that's fascinating, bro? I'm telling you this. Believe it or not, you a fucking winner. You are a winner. I'm going to give you an example right now. Let's say if you was going through a race, and then they got like 30 million people in that race. You're like, holy shit, that's a lot of people, bro.
Yeah. You lock your eyes against all those 30 million, and yet you
30 million people that you're racing to. And then I'm talking about in real life right now. Man, you'll be like, damn, they got a motherfucker that's, and that 30 million, somebody faster than you. Somebody's better than you. Somebody's the highest level you can think of. And yet, you're the fucking winner. So, just to say, in the fucking sperm, 30 million motherfucker was running. But guess what? You fucking made it. You are a winner. Thinking about it this way than this life. You was already winning. You made it. Yes, this life we're living is not pretty. The world we live in is fucked up. We as human, we all different. We all bring something different to the table. Yes, we didn't ask for this shit. And that 30 millions, you was very competitive. Your competitiveness took over. You didn't back down. Guess what? You made it. You didn't know what you was expecting. But you heard there was a race. There was a place you might come. Shit might be good.
Yep.
But guess what? You wasn't born Bill Gates' daughter or Bill Gates' son.
Man, if talking about Bill Gates' daughter, also
I'm gonna think about it. I'll just say.
You ever seen that dude that's
yeah. This dude always smiling.
That dude smiling from ear to ear all the time.
Yeah, that's me smiling. Yes, you wasn't the worst child, son or daughter. Yes, you was the guy that had no money. Yeah, the guy that was a crackhead. Yeah, you had a fucked up childhood. Yes. Don't let that define you. Don't let that make it destroy your life. If you can take one thing from this moment, think this. Out of 30 million sperm, you was a fucking winner. You was a competitor. You win that race. 30 million. Not 3,000, not 300, not 30, not 3. 30 million, bro. That was a lot. You think the price was gonna be big? When you got to this earth, you was into the bad deal. You you was into the bad deal. Okay. You made it out at 30 million before. So what's stopping you now? Where's that competitiveness that you had inside? What happened to it? You let it go? No, it's inside of you, bruv. Think about it this way. If you're going through some shit, is a reason. I tricked my brain. We had to go through this. We had to go through this pain. What can we learn from this situation? Because now you develop a new skill, how to deal with a new set of problems. Oh shit, I've been there before. That's nothing, bro. You never go through a situation a second time and you're like, nothing but a thing.
That's what I'm saying, which is that same sense you may look at things. How would my future self look at it? My future self would look at it. I mean, that shit wasn't even no big deal. All I had to do is do this, and that. Second time when you're facing the same problem, it's kind of like you get the recipe, you get the instruction manual on how to deal with it, to where it's not really a problem. It doesn't even stress you out to the tiniest. You can just be like, oh yeah, been there, done that. We do this, and that, and then we move on.
Yeah, so everything, every problem, every situation, every difficulties can be a reason for you to develop new skills, to strengthen your mental, to strengthen your brain, to strengthen how you deal with problem, how to get better, how to be great. That's how I look at it. So problems supposed to happen. Nothing in this life supposed to be good. I think the sooner you deal with the problem, the better it is.
Absolutely.
Because the longer you wait,
that's it. The more you linger within that issue, the more you let it stress you out.
And the more difficult it becomes.
The more difficult it becomes. Exactly. Because if you spend 2-3 days crying about it, and then you realize, okay, I shed all those tears, and yet that problem is still there. How far ahead you would have been if you attacked that problem right away? You would have been 3 days ahead. And I know as people, when something hurt, it's kind of like your body want to react to that pain. But for the most part, if you can find a way to just cut off that pain, or at least allow that pain the shortest time as possible, you can get to the solution quicker and faster, to where that anxious feeling you're feeling in your heart, you can get rid of it the soonest.
No pain, no gain.
Absolutely.
The earthquake that we went through, I know we're sitting down here, we're living it. And one of the most difficult moments in our life, stressful, traumatized, that brought PTSD at the end of it. But yet, we still survive. We're still going. So to understand from two different point of view at the time, how earthquake in Haiti that killed 300
how traumatic it was.
16,000 people, and we had the chance to survive. So I hope you had a chance to go know us in some ways.
You have to go through it with us, at least to an extent, see the image we're trying to portray as of what really happened that day, because it was traumatic, extremely traumatic. And for the people that perhaps never lived through an earthquake, to an extent, they can have an idea how scary it was, how crazy, how traumatic, and so on and so forth. Because it's one of those things that people can live their whole life and never got a chance to go through. Earthquake.
And if there is any Haitian that's watching this, that's listening to this, there was in Haiti at the time that happened, that you can have a moment, think about that day. Where were you in the morning? What happened during the day? What happened during the earthquake? What happened the aftermath? I think millions of people everybody have a different story. Everybody was a place when that happened. So
yeah, it's one of those places you remember exactly where you were at, what you were doing, because it's like one of those lifetime situations you'll never forget.
If you enjoyed this, follow us, share and like. This is the Haitian King Podcast.